Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinhavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is a preamble prayer to one of the Upanishads. What it means is Sahana Vavatu. Let us pray together. Sahano Bhunaktu. Let us enjoy the class together. Sahaviryam Karvavahai. And let's act upon it with all the energy that you have. Sahaviryam Karvavahai. Always together. Sahaviryam Karvavahai. Tejasvina vaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Let us not get into unhealthy arguments. Let us do healthy discussions. Om Nidaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishajheva Varoginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavartaya Shuddha Jnanaika Murtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Sruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. ஒன்றவன்தானே இரண்டவன் இன்னருள் நின்றனன் மூன்றினுள் நான்கு உணர்ந்தனன் ஐந்து வென்றனன் ஆறு விரிந்தனன் எழும்பார் சென்றனன் தான் இருந்தான் உணர்ந்து எட்டு. Good. So last class we had general discussions on Hinduism. It was mostly general questions, even though the topic was on Lord Shiva that Sasha had given, but I think we covered some part of Shiva. And whatever we left out last class, we will cover them today. So I still have the PowerPoint from last class, so we can also put that in. The topic that Shasha wanted to talk about today was Shivaratri, which was a festival, a Hindu festival that we had last month. It was on March 8th. It was on a Friday. It comes annually once a year. Now, this comes during March, either beginning of March or late March, depending on the Hindu calendar, because the Hindu calendar goes by the moon. It's not a Gregorian calendar. So depending upon the phase of the moon, it could be different dates on the same English calendar. So this year it was on March 8th. So it's interesting that she wants to talk about it. It was not too long ago. Good. And I have also a short video, if time permits, that will play from one of the celebrations we had in our temple a few years ago. Now, what we will talk about today is the glory of Shivaratri. Mahima is glory, the importance. Why do we do that? Why do the Hindus do that? Why should everyone should do that, for that matter? And then there are different types of Shivaratri. And what is the difference? And the origin of Shivaratri, and how do you observe it? And what are the fruits of observing this? What is the fruits, benefits of observing these festivals, or what we call vratas? Now, Shiva is Lord Shiva. The definition of Shiva in just three important words, the Upanishadic definition that I always give: Shivam Shantam Chaturtam Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vijñaya. There are three components to it. Shantam, Shiva is absolutely peaceful. That's the first primary definition of Lord Shiva. Anytime you see a picture of Shiva, not the ones with the trident dancing around. Shiva is, when we talk about Shiva, we're talking about that meditating Shiva with eyes closed that you see. That is Shiva, Shantam. That's the first definition. And the second definition is Chaturtam. Chaturtham means he is the fourth state of consciousness. So that obviously begs the question, fourth state of consciousness, where is it? Right? It's in us. So when we say fourth, there are already three states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Come, Raviji. Waking, dreaming, and sleeping, right? Which we all go through, which we know. But behind these three, there is a fourth state called Turiya, or you can call it transcendental state. What do you mean by transcendental? Because that fourth state transcends all these three. So when we say transcend, means it's beyond all these three as a witness. So whatever is happening here, nothing changes here. There's always a permanent witness. Okay, you're waking, watch. He is watching. Sleeping, he is watching. Dreaming, he is watching. Dreaming, he is watching. Right? So that's called the fourth state. Somebody that's watching you all the time, and that person watching you is you. That's a real you.
The observer.
Yeah, the observer. So that's a real you. Because, why I say that's a real you? You're awake, and you know you're awake, somebody knows, and you're in deep sleep, you know you had a deep sleep, right? Once you wake up, you know whether you slept good or not, right? If somebody was not aware of this, you wouldn't know. I just give this very simple. Last class also I mentioned, by 10 o'clock you turn your awareness off, 10 p.m., and 6 a.m. you turn your awareness back on, you wouldn't know what happened between 10 and 6, would you? So someone is awake to see if you slept good or you didn't sleep good. And then you're dreaming. And now in the dreaming you are there, but you're also watching. So who is the person who is in the dream and who is the person who is watching the dream?
Yourself.
Yeah? Yeah. So that means someone is watching. So that is the Turiya state, fourth state. Call it. And then now science has validated this. In India, thousands of years, it's talked about in the Upanishads and the Vedas. And there was this great saint, Tulsidas Ji, who wrote this history of Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana, for the people who are not very scholarly, people from the villages. Because Ramayana was in Sanskrit, classic Sanskrit. Only Ram Navami. So, Ram Lala is coming today. So this was in high standard Sanskrit. That was Valmiki Ramayana. Only scholars could understand. But this Tulsidas, this great saint, he did it in Awadh language, which is a very simple, a villager can understand that language. In such a way that Sri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nijaman Mukura Surai Bharano Ragbar. So it goes on like this, very simple language. And then the same saint who wrote in such a simple language that even a cowherd can understand, a villager can understand, he wrote a few passages in the highest classic Sanskrit. Highest classic Sanskrit. And those ones he wrote in Sanskrit were on Lord Shiva. Namami, this is Sanskrit. Samishana Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam Nijam Nirgunam Nirvikalpam Niriram Nirakaram Omkaramulam Turiyam. That's why I'm telling you this. The word Turiyam, he uses this. The fourth state of consciousness. Lord Shiva is the fourth state. Says, Namamisham Ishanam Nirvana Rupam. You just an attributeless. It goes on. This passage is at once what you call Nirakara and Sahakara. Is described Lord Shiva with the form. Shiva is the formless. And then that formless form has taken the form of this whole universe. And the form of this universe, NASA tells us, is a oval shape, Shivalingam. And that's how we worship Lord Shiva, as a Shivalingam. I'll show you some other slides. So that fourth state, the second definition of Shiva is the fourth state in you, that fourth major state of Turiya. Now what else is that? Sa Atma Savijñeya, and he is that soul in you. He is that soul in you. Shivam, Shantam, that peace. Chaturtham, the fourth major state of consciousness. And what is that? And that's you. That's your soul. Now here is a soul. That's you. I forgot your name already. Hector, yeah, Hector. Hector's soul, right? Now Hector's soul is covered by 5 shirts. So the physical body is the first shirt. Now what is underneath? It's called the energy body. Second shirt. What is below that is called the astral body. And what is below that is the mental body. And what is below that is the fifth causal body. So Hector, what is your name?
Also Hector.
Hector. So Hector 1, Hector 2, they're all covered by 5. Sophia and Vanessa, yeah. They're all covered by 5 sheets. So the outer, when we die, I'm sorry, I'm digressing a little bit, but these are a lot of information. When we die, we cast one shirt off. All that you did was one shirt. You're still living in your energy body, still living in your astral body, you're still living in your mental body, you're still living in your causal body. That's why when someone dies, I saw my grandmother in my room. She may be dying or she's dead in a different place. But this grandchild saw the grandmother, or a daughter saw the father, or a grandfather. We all experience that, the apparitions. People see apparitions. They're not ghosts, but they are the energy body. Now, so long, pay attention to this one, so long as this physical body has not completely decayed and destroyed, the energy body is going to linger around. And why is that? We have a scientific validation for that. In Russia, they developed a photography, high voltage photography called Kirlian photography. You can Google it. What they would do, just a very simple example, pick a leaf from a tree, put it on a table and take a picture of it. Kirlian photograph. You would see the leaf plus the aura, the energy around it. Now, after an hour, take the same picture, the energy would have decayed. And eventually when the leaf is dried out, there won't be any energy. There's no any aura. Just that leaf, dry leaf only comes in the picture. So which means the complete energy is dissipated. So same way, so long as this body is not completely decayed and destroyed, the energy body lingers around. That's one of the reasons why the Hindus burn the body. Why they burn it? Destroy it right away. Destroy 2 bodies right away, the physical body and the energy body, so that the soul could move forward, onward in its journey wherever it needs to go. Then it lives in the astral body for a certain number of years, depending on the kind of life the person has led. Then there's a death in the astral body, so the third shirt is cast off. Then you come in the mental body. Mental body is, like a person like an Einstein would have a very strong mental body. So, depending upon how intellectual you are. So, there's certain lifetime in the mental body. Then you cast that mental body, you cast your 4th shirt off. Then you come to the 5th one called the causal body. The reason we call it the causal body, because that's what causes your next journey, that's what causes your next birth. Now how does that happen? What is the mechanics here? The mechanics is, I'm not sure if we talked about it last time, if you drive from here, Miami to Orlando, on the way you see these orange groves, 100 acres of orange groves. And then these 100 acres of orange groves are full of fruits. A few trucks go there, pluck all the fruits. Now 100 acres of orange grove is a few truckloads of oranges. Now the few truckloads go to the factory, get juiced, many gallons. those many gallons get concentrated, right? Concentrated. Now what happened to the 100 acres? Just a few gallons of concentrated juice. Then that concentrated juice gets reconstituted, right? Same way, your lifetime, 80 years, 100 years of lifetime is like the orange grove. So when you cast your first body off, the experiences you had in this 100 years, all the software you wrote pages and pages for 80 years, they get condensed and get passed on to the next level. And then when you die in the energy body, and when you die in the astral body, they all get condensed, and get passed on like the oranges, get concentrated. And finally, when you come to the astral body, it's all in a microchip. All your 100 years of software, 8 years of software that you wrote in this lifetime didn't go anywhere. It's in a cloud. For example, I'm using this computer. I put my flash drive in there, right? Or that camera, for example. So it's taking video. Subbu is taking video. And the video is in a little micro SD card. Then the micro SD card, I put it in the cloud. The camera will be gone, micro SD will be gone, but where is the video now? The cloud, right? Same way. Your body will be gone, all your bodies will be gone. But all the experience, the software you wrote is in the cloud, it didn't go anywhere. So it's in that microchip. So depending upon what kind of software you wrote all this 100 years is what is in this microchip, and depending upon what this microchip has, if it's a human microchip, if you live like a human being, your next birth will be human being. Because there's no cross-platform here. A software written for a PC will run only on a PC. Software written for a Mac will run on a Mac only. There's no cross-platform here. On the other hand, if I live like a pig, I got to find a pig's body to run the software, right? So live like a human being, I would say live like a divine person. This is the mechanics of it works.
So you gave the mental
Body.
Right? So you gave the example of
Einstein.
Right? So now what happens to the dumb people are like me? Are really?
You.
Sorry.
Who said you're dumb? You, FIU will not have appointed you if you're dumb. If they did, they're dumb.
Let us say that one.
Well, yeah, I know the question. I'll answer it. Sorry to interrupt you. You see, the strength of, if a strong intellectual person, the life in the mental body is longer. So for somebody who is like a primitive, just basic, just starting out as a human being, for them the intellect is very, just by instincts they go, like they just promoted from animal kingdom to human kingdom. Yes, I mean that's the sequence.
So then we do upgrade.
Yeah, we do upgrades. Yeah, that's what we have been. I'll tell you something. Yeah, it's a good question you said. In one of the Tamil saints said, Pullahi, Pudai, Puduvai, Maramahi, Palvarhamai, Paravai, Pambai, Kallai, Manidarai, Payai, Kanangalai, Vallasrai, Munivarai, Devara. I'll translate this. Exactly, absolutely. So I'll translate into understandable theosophical society explanation. To start with, they call it monad, just the spirit. That nothingness, the spirit. Then in that spirit, now physics, quantum physics, or virtual particles. In that nothingness, the nothingness was everythingness. Nothing was full. And that full was nothing. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamadachate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vashishyate. Another word. So that nothingness had everything. When I say everything, it had the whole cosmos in a virtual form. This is quantum physics I'm talking about. As a virtual particle, as string waves. Then they combined. Then a particle came about. Then the particles combined. Then the elements came, the atoms came out, atoms combined, molecules came out, molecules combined, atoms came about, molecules, and then elements. Now, the Theosophists give it a different terminology. They call it mineral kingdom, particles, mineral kingdom. Then the vegetable kingdom, and the vegetation comes out of it, earth. Then the animal kingdom, amphibians, from the fish, amoeba, and all that. This is Darwin's area, like you said, vegetable kingdom. Then the animal kingdom. Then the human. This is the evolution. So this monad, the spirit, has diluted itself or involuted itself. Spirit has involuted itself into matter. Into matter. Spirit is not concrete like this. Spirit is abstract. Can't touch it. If I just quote words from the Bible, you have to die in the flesh to complete it for me.
I don't know.
To live in the spirit. You have to die in the flesh to live in the spirit. So what do you mean by that? So you have to refine this gross system. That's what Hinduism is all about, all this you see here. You have to refine this gross system to realize the subtle spirit. You all can do it. Everybody has done that. So coming back where we left off his question. So when you come to from the vegetable kingdom, get promoted to the human, then your intellect starts to develop. That is why symbolically in Bible it said that Adam and Eve eating that apple and then getting that knowledge, discrimination. Oh, this is right. So it's like up to that human point, you're at the power of nature. You don't have your own volition. Animals do what they're supposed to do. Trees do what they're supposed to do. They don't have that intellect, thinking, rationalism. This is wrong. Oh, I can't kill a deer. Lion doesn't think I can kill a deer because it has babies. It doesn't think like that. It doesn't have discrimination. But the moment it eats an apple, it comes discrimination. So the moment you come to a human being, God has given you this faculty of reason. Like if you're 16 years old or 18 years old, your father gives you a key to the car. Now you're responsible. Now whatever you do with it, you're responsible. If you hit somebody or make an accident, you pay for it. That's exactly what happens with us. When the moment you become a human being, what you said, the buddhi comes in, the intellect comes in. So that buddhi slowly develops depending upon how you develop it, or some of us smother the buddhi. The buddhi is your intuition, that intellect that tells us this is right, this is wrong. I always give this example. You drive through and then you see this ice cream parlor, butterscotch. You say, I want to have butterscotch today. But you just had a cold a couple of days ago. Your buddhi, your intellect says, don't eat that ice cream. That's intellect. But your ego, what the heck, just one day. Your ego, right? And then you taste, your senses say, okay, just one day. Now you eat that. So now the buddhi is overridden here. This is just one simple example, how we develop habits. The first time you do something, the intellect says, don't smoke. Don't smoke. But then buddhi says, let's have fun, friends are doing it, let me do it, what the heck. You do it one time, and the second time you do it, intellect keeps telling you, but what happens now? Your ego in cohort with your senses says you override the intellect. Now eventually what happens is becomes a habit. So the intellect's pushed all the way back. Now the mind has taken control. So mind and intellect are two different things. Intellect is reasoning. Mind is with the ego. Mind is always in partnership.
It's a computer.
Yeah, mind is always what you program, and the ego programs that computer. So senses are like a mouse, and the ego is like the keyboard. Like that's your. So then you plan it, and the intellect is in the back telling you, don't touch that key, don't move that mouse. What do you do?
Intellect is more of a neocortex.
Yeah.
It thinks of the consequences of your decision.
Exactly. Yeah. It tells you the consequences. Intellect is more in tune with the spirit. Intellect is more in tune with the high consciousness. So that is always right. So the intuition, I had an intuition this is going to happen. I had an intuition this is wrong, but still I did it. I had a gut feeling that this was not right, but I still did it and paying for it. So that's intellect. So that, answering his question, develops slowly. So the reasoning faculty, that, okay, super. Okay, so that's what it is. So now, coming back to Shivaratri, we're still stuck on the first slide here, as usual. So Shiva, like I said, these are the three definitions. That's your soul. Now, why do we do this? Oh, no, what is Ratri? Ratri means night, darkness. Night is darkness, right? And another thing in night is silence, quietness, unless you're on a Friday night party. But otherwise, night is usually quiet. Night is quiet and dark. Now, why do we combine these two? Why do we combine Shiva and darkness? Peace. Good. You see, coming back to physics again, science talks about black holes and then the Big Bang. Now, black holes are nothing but giant condensed forms of stars that keep eating and eating. It's simple, like this one has a density. So it'll attract nearby things. The more it attracts and swallows it, it grows more dense. The more dense it grows, the more powerful it becomes. So it just eventually it becomes so powerful and bellyful, it explodes. Then the new creation comes up. Now, this dark hole is called the night of Shiva. Because Nataraja does, the Lord Shiva, Paratpara, Parameshwara does 5 functions. Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Tirodhana, Anugraha. This is function of Lord Shiva, who is like the CEO, who runs his whole cosmos. For creation, in Hindu philosophy, in Hindu words, for creation he appoints who is called Brahma. For maintaining this cosmos after it's created, he appoints Vishnu, who runs this. And for resolving what was created, he appoints Rudras. So it's always Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, not Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. We don't say that. Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. Now, once the resolution takes place, we call it Pralaya, then that is the darkness. All the creation is resolved in. Now, science tells us, astronomy tells us, that eventually even the sun is going to collapse. All this is going to collapse into that dark matter, dark black hole. Eventually it's going to happen. Millions of years, but it's going to happen. So that is darkness. So now what happens between this darkness and the next creation is what is called Shivaratri. What happens in this, just before the Big Bang, during this darkness, that energy, the energy is so condensed in this darkness that she's just struggling to pop out. So that is what we call Parvati. In Hindu mythology, we call that Shakti Parvati. So we have this, that in this darkness, in this night of Lord Shiva, Parvati did vrata. Vrata means she did tapas. So she just said, let me create again. Now that I'm already back into darkness, and let creation happen. So she prays to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the ultimate authority. So Shakti, energy, with Shiva combining, then the Big Bang takes place and the creation takes place. And this creation, that's why we represent Shiva and Shakti as one form. The lady on the left side and the man on the right side. That's why we say Shiva gave her half of her equal rights to Parvati. Ardhanarishwara we call it. So that is pretty much what Shivaratri is in terms of physics.